1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. The Cebu Classic trying to get out of a 3-game losing streak. We'll be starting with Daryl Manligas and Bumong Tampos in the backcourt, joined by Dolan Adlawan, John Habonete, and Mark Meneses. Samantala sa kabilang panig naman, it's June Manzo, RJ Ramirez, Jonas Tibayan, Bambam Gamalinda, and Ino Homeboy. Welcome to the second game of your Friday triple header here at the Marikina Sports Complex. This is the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. Magandang hapon muli sa inyong lahat. Javi Palanya joined by Coach Mike Perez. Ms. Gianna Llanes is at courtside in the Mindoro Tamaraos. Won their last 2 games against Marikina and Davao. They won by 21 against the Shoemasters and 22 against the Davao Occidental Tigers. But the Cebu Classic getting the first basket in this game, and very important for Cebu to have a good start sa laro na to, Coach Mike, compared to what they had against Rizal.
Napakahalaga talaga ng magandang simula para dito sa Cebu because, you know, some of your top scorers are not really available in this game. And so other guys like Jameson Hero, Daryl Manligas, and those guys got to step up, especially on the scoring side. The question now is, where's the scoring going to come from? Do they have enough scorers on the floor? I think they do. They just have to take volume shots.
And I think the importance of having a good start against a team that's really been on a roll recently is just really of high value.
Oo. At saka you know, they've been fluid itong Mindoro, and you want to challenge that and disrupt their flow and make it difficult, and at the same time make shots, just like how Habonete has done in that part.
Habonete looking good here to start this game. All 5 points of the Cebu Classic coming from the former Mapua Cardinal. Gamalinda looking for Inocombo. Instead, he goes to June Manzo. Jonas Tibayan hands it off to RJ Ramirez. Mindoro yet to get on the board. Can this be the possession they finally score a basket? That 3-point shot is long. Tampos looking to push here for the Classic. Meneses, a full head of steam, and he gets the bounce.
And just by looking at personal alone, you know today's gonna be a fast break game para dito sa Cebu Classics. You know, no Ladis Lepalam. Well, thankfully, Denny Santos right there on the bench. I think he's going to see action today, and so that's going to be pretty good for Cebu.
Manzo, who's been working a lot on gaining some muscle. He's been in the gym a lot lately. Gets that push shot to go. That's been his specialty throughout his career. Those hook shots have been a patented part of his ball game.
At saka ang kailangan dito sa Cebu Classics, kailangan matyaga ka rin dumipensa. Kasi itong Mindoro, they like to go on their flow offense where, you know, a lot of cutting, a lot of exchange on the weak side. And so you got to stay with your man, stay with your defensive principles, so as not to allow that flow to be in that rhythm para dito sa Mindoro.
Dolan Adlawan, who is only averaging 1.7 points per game this season, getting his first basket, is also a rare start para sa kanya. Getting the opportunity from Coach Mike Reyes. That's a miss galing kay Manzo. The Classic looking ahead. Tampos, this is what he does best, but he misses. Meneses does too. Bots the opportunity for the Classic. Mindoro on the flip side. The spin from Gamalinda. Overshoots that one. Manzo. That one's a miss as well. For both teams exchanging missed shots. Tampos, drop step, running into 2 defenders. Meneses gets a handle on that basketball, and Cebu will look to set this one up. Marami pang oras sa kanilang shot clock. Manligas splits the defense. Tampos, corner pocket 3. Yes, sir!
That looked good. And tempo so far really on the side of the Cebu Classics. Their own version of fast speed gaming.
Playing without some key players tonight, but looking very good. Ito Cebu Classic, and Boom Boom Tampos at the forefront of that. He's featured in our 3-point shot of the game, brought to you by Extreme One-Stop Shop Appliances. Time out for the Mindoro Tamaraos. We'll take a short break.
Kayo ay nanonood pa rin ng Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. For this match, Cebu Classic only has 10 players pero ayon kay Coach Mike Reyes, you cannot discount these 10 players because they are all very strong. And with them being the underdog this match daw, this will challenge them to be even closer as a team. Ang mensahe ni Coach Mike sa kanyang koponan before this game, naiintindihan niya sila. It is not easy to forget about their emotions, but what they can hold on to today is their love for the game of basketball. Despite being undermanned for this match, we'll still witness Coach Mike Reyes smiling on the sidelines as a source of inspiration for the Classic to stay positive amidst any situation. Back to you, Javi and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Gianna. Excellent report there. You know, when a team is down and going through something, it's important for the guy who's steering the ship to really be that source of inspiration and positivity. It's very admirable that Coach Mike Reyes has really taken on this job to see his team get back on track, and we're seeing the fruits of that here in the first quarter. Coach, his team looking very good. They're up by 12 points.
Especially as you try and get a good rhythm of wins for your team, and as you go against a very formidable Mindoro Tamaraos, short on some key players. You just love a leader who says the right things in situations that, you know, you gotta need that energy for your team.
And of course, Coach Mike, you know this being a coach, your siblings at you. But when you're playing this game and you try and put back things that are happening, you go back to your roots at mabubuhay muli that fire inside you and that passion on why you're actually trying to do this.
That is right. And you know, in one of my posts on my Facebook, one of the coaches that I talked to a lot, Coach Ronel Loteri, who was one of the assistant coaches of the Benil team sometime 2000, he said it clearly that if the relationship between the player and the coach is done right, there is a bond that no one else would ever understand except for that player and that coach. So that, I feel, is one of the things that Coach Mike is actually building with his team. Make no mistake, this is a strong team in Cebu.
This is the fast break of the game, brought to you by Extreme X Spa, personal karaoke speaker every day. Karaoke. Nice finish there with the left hand. Mark Meneses. The Cebu Classic really looking to score in transition here to begin this game. Axel Inigo pumasok na, the playing assistant coach of the Mindoro Tamaraos, trying to fish for a foul, but no whistle was blown. Our referees in this game, crew chief is Alan Manzano, Dexter Arcega, umpire 1, and Efren Aganon, umpire 2. 14-2, Mindoro struggling to score the basketball, while the Cebu Classic have really turned on a frenetic pace to begin this game. Adlawan will try to add to his total, but that three-pointer is off to the left. Sedorifa, he was the hot hand in that game against the Davao Tigers. Gomboy working the two-man game with Jonas Tibayan. Bienes gives it to Sedorifa. Three-pointer, no good. But the tap goes back to Mindoro. Sedorifa, another chance. Still no good. Adlawan aggressively pulling that down para sa Cebu. Manligues lost it. That's going to be last touch on him. It will go back the way of Mindoro.
Contrasting style of play siya na mangyayari dito para sa dalawang team. You see, for the most part, Cebu would love to push the pace and try to take advantage of their foot speed. And ito namang Mindoro would try to slow it down, get to their flow offense. And, you know, whichever tempo gets dictated, it depends on how these guys are going to respond to each other.
Bienes working with his college buddy in Axel Inigo, two former FEU Tamaraos. Bono, no good on the three-point shot. Bienes this time underneath, gets the basket, +1.
Now, if you're Mindoro, yeah, sure you're trailing. You don't want to be trailing early in the game, but you like that you're seeing those looks on those shots. They're really not just falling in.
This is our assist of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. And what about that pass coming from Hans Maicon? He too has been a vital part of the bench mob for Mindoro recently.
Right. And, you know, you'd like to think that every guy that you put on the floor would actually respond. And going back, nakakita ng looks ang Mindoro. They're really not just making it. It answers all the questions of shooting, who, where, and when. So who's shooting? It's the right guy. When are they shooting? When they're free. And, you know, really just not making it. Yun lang ang kailangan nilang ma-resolve to get those shots.
Ombis could not make that three-point shot. Kakapasok niya lang. Bienes could not break down the defense of De Los Santos. Gives it up to Inigo. Maikong, that pass a little behind. One fake, fades away. Jumper no good. Mendoza with a board. Mendoza has scored on all three-point shots this season. Has not yet been able to convert a basket inside the arc para sa Cebu Classic. A sniper at a Far Eastern University.
And itong Mindoro also loves to go to their 3 game. Right now, they haven't made any. You got guys like Sidorifa, Combo, Axel, even Ken Bono that can shoot it from there. And Ken had a couple shots already. He was free. Hindi lang talaga pumapasok pa.
This time he wants it against Hompist near the basket. Bono goes to his back to the basket game. That hook shot masyado malakas. Bangkale gets it to Mendoza. Misses on the 3. Meneses pulls it down and gets it back up.
Oh, Mark Meneses, how about that? That's what you love about him. Last year when you saw him in Pangasinan, di ba? You know, yung quality minutes na binibigay niya, napakaganda. But right now, he's on a different level of confidence, if you ask me.
Given the opportunity to have much more responsibility on his shoulders, has certainly given him that boost in his game. That he gives up the foul here on Hans Maikong.
That's importante is playing loose. No, he's not tight. And tapos na yung rookie jitters natin first year.
We'd like to thank LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Hans Maikong out of Olivares College in Parañaque. Played under Coach Mike Sagigit. Starting his career here this season in the MPBL under Mindoro's new head coach Benji Teodoro. Jeco Bangkale, vital cog of Mapua's championship run in the NCAA. Matched up against Bienes. The crossover to the middle. Hompist almost traveled. Gives it back to Jeco. Bangkale, that's a warm-up jumper off the heel. Oh, Inigo loses it. The classic on the counter. Bangkale had to adjust. That one short. Sedorifa pushing. He has Maikong on the left side. Sedorifa decelerates, gets it off the glass.
Alam ni rin si Dorifa na one of the leading shot blockers from last season itong si Mark Meneses. So you gotta be careful with your footwork and throw him off tempo pag tira niya.
Double high setup for the classic. Bangkale goes to Hompist. He's missed 2 shots now from the outside. Axel tried to get it to Bono, but that's off Cebu player. Possession will stay with Mindoro. 1:34 remaining here in the first quarter. Cebu continuing to hold on to this 16-8 advantage. Not a lot of fouls being called in this game. Cebu with 2 team fouls. Mindoro only with 1. Maikong behind the line. Wala. Now the Classic will try to slow things down and get something going in their half court.
And one thing that hasn't gone the way of Mindoro, I don't think they've ever beaten a primary defender yet, no? Halos lahat ng depensa ng Cebu nakatapat sa kanila on every attack.
Coach Cebu came into that game against Rizal as the number 2 defensive team in the league. Although that has changed, they dropped down to number 5, I believe. But still, you still see in this game, especially the metal that they have on that side of the basketball. Sedorifa gives it up. Bono will not take the shot. Still a lot of time on their 24. Inigo goes to Sedorifa. 2 outside snipers. Bono, that one's short.
Didn't have enough lift.
Sedorifa will try his luck. Short rin yun.
Oh, wow.
Mindoro only shooting below 50%. 15% in this game.
Not in the flow, the usual flow of the Tamaraws.
That shot was wild. Sedorifa will not force it. Gets it back. This time he'll take it. Sedorifa, nothing but bottom.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, they're getting their looks. They're not making them. And now that you see that ball go through the net, hopefully that starts something here for Mindoro.
Was exactly that fire starter para sa Mindoro in that game against Davao. Once he got going, Davao absolutely just had a hard time from the outside after a lackluster performance from three-point country in their first few games. That certainly is a welcome sign, especially with the play that they're having right now as of late.
Yeah, lalo na he's their top shooter from anywhere on the floor. I mean, from the middies, from threes, he's 54% from the perimeter, 42% from three, almost an 80% free throw shooter. And you gotta get him involved offensively and get him to that flow.
And Mindoro knows when Joseph Sedorifa gets going, it gets easier for the other players. Bangkale from way downtown. My goodness, Jeko Bangkale. And that's with the defense in front of him still. Game clock, shot clock, winding down. Jeko Bangkale, they're gonna check if it's good. But what a basket para kay Jeko Bangkale to pull Cebu away from a drought that they were experiencing after Mindoro threatened to come back. After the review, that three-point shot of Jeko Bangkale will count near half court. Jeko Bangkale with Axel Inigo draped all over him, rattles one home.
And really just understanding clock right there. And knowing that the clock was winding, you got to get it up. Like what we told you, you get these guys in a flow, they're going to be real good.
Cebu making a good account of themselves here against the Mindoro Tamarao. Second quarter now underway. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Javi Palanya joined by Coach Mike Perez and Miss Gianna Lianes. And Coach, your thoughts about that first quarter for the Cebu Classic, unlike the way that they started against the Rizal Golden Coolers in their last game?
Well, I think they played with a lot of pace, which was really what they wanted to do. Daryl Manliguez and Tampos started that game on a fast note, and Mindoro wasn't making their shots despite getting good looks. And the good thing was Sedorifa was actually knocking down shots in the latter part of the game, but Bangkale able to make that buzzer beater in the end. And we'll see still how these guys respond. I feel the longer this game becomes fast, it's more favorable for Cebu.
And you just saw in the first quarter field goal story earlier, this free throw brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. 4 out of 24 para sa Mindoro and 8 out of 20 for Cebu. 16% for the Tamaraos and 40% for the Classic. That's a staggering difference. And yet the Tamaraos are down by just 6 at this point.
And when you play with a lot of pace, lalo na kung ikaw ang Cebu, you get energy, lalo na if you make shots. Now, if you're defending like the Mindoro Tamaraos, considering the heat in this gym, it could wear you down as well. And so it's very important for the Tamaraos to get into a good rhythm, good energy about themselves so that, you know, they get into their usual Mindoro Tamaraos stuff.
But do you think, Coach, the pace of Cebu, was that something that Mindoro wasn't ready for?
I think given the changes in the roster, they weren't ready for that. You know? For the most part, really, they're also a slow-down game. Half-court sets with Paulo, Ladis, and Denny Santos pretty much. But this trio of Tampos, Bangkale, Daryl Manliguez, Mark Meneses, you know, these guys love to run. And so you got to play to your advantage in that aspect.
I think that's more of their natural game, Coach. If you really try to maximize the strengths of the roster that they have right now, this is a very capable running team.
Yeah. By default, ika nga, pag hinayaan mo maglaro yung mga yan, yun ang talagang tatakbuhin niya, magtatakbuhan yan, and they love to run the open floor.
At saka puro bata itong mga to, Coach.
Yes. Ganda pa ng mga handles, no? Bibilis na tumakbo.
At that time, they mishandled the basketball. Gamalinda forces it inside, misses on the layup. That's off Meneses. It will stay with Mindoro. Wala pang 2 minuto nakakalipas dito sa ating pangalawang yugto. This is still an 8-point lead that Mindoro is trying to get back from.
Right.
Ramirez will trigger in from the baseline. Homeboy fakes the 3, drives inside, kicks it out. Bono will also do the same, leans it closer. Ken Bono has struggled with his shot here in the first half.
Yeah, definitely. And not that he's taking forced shots. Libre din di ba?
0 out of 4 so far. That's a high looping shot galing kay Ino Comboy.
One guy that they gotta get going from three, itong si Ino Comboy. He's 34% three-point shooter, and you gotta get him to those spots where he's taking those free shots coming out of the movements on the offense.
I think that's the one thing also, Coach, that has been apparent in their wins as of late. It's been Ino Comboy really taking charge offensively para sa kanila.
And he does it either start of the game or towards latter part when they really need it.
And here he is trying to get on the board. Rattles out that three-point shot. The Classic are running. Tampos drops it up. Meneses, that bit too short. Tampos is there for the cleanup job.
Don't you? If you're Cebu, you just love this tandem of Mark Meneses and Boom Tampos. Just a lot of elevation when they jump.
And for them, Coach, I think it feels like playground basketball to them.
Yeah.
I feel like this kind of game is very fun para sa kanila. Yung magtatakbuhan lang sila, papasahan, really try and push the pace.
Oh, without a doubt. Absolutely.
Bangkale drops it up. Hompist, push shot, wala. Gets his own miss. Second serving is good para kay Ken Hompist.
And Ken Bono getting a little bit frustrated right now. Giving offensive rebounds.
He's not happy with himself visibly right now. You could see the look on his face.
Right.
This is an 8-point lead. Gamalinda drives inside. Wala. Tampos. Bono tried to foul. Bangkale ahead. Bangkale will score.
And at the rate this game's been played, well, it sure is at the very least tiring out this Mindoro Tamaraos. You see RJ Ramirez and Gamalinda right there, hand on their knees.
This is our fast break of the game, brought to you by Extreme X Play on-the-go speaker. Take your music anywhere. Well, that time it was the Mindoro Tamaraos getting it 6 days after that. It's the Bacolod Tubo Slashers, and after on June 5, they will go up against the Basilan Viva Port Masters, who lost a thriller of a game yesterday to the Binyanta Takjal. Let's go courtside to Miss Gianna Lianes.
Ethan Galang is not playing for Mindoro today, but ayon kay Coach Benji Tudoro, he is recovering. Ibinahagi ni Coach Benji, hindi lang siya laking Mindoro, but he was also the very first head coach ng Mindoro nung sumali sila sa MPBL in 2019, and he shares he is now in disbelief with how far the Tamaraos have come since then. Napakasaya daw niya sa turnout ng huling laro ng kanyang kupunan against Davao. In his words, nakikita na ang chemistry namin at klaro na ang role ng bawat player. He shares that Mindoro's goal right now is to make it to the playoffs, so they had to straighten out some things their last huddle. Boxing out was in the conversation as well as organizing plays. They are taking shots daw pero walang nagsiset ng magagandang plays. So he adds, once we create, everything will follow. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Gianna. And for Coach Benji, I think this is a full circle moment para sa kanya, being the first head coach of this team here in this league. That time, they didn't have this much talent that they have right now.
Yeah, agree. And this is a league that prides itself not just on coaches with their systems, but as well as the players, being quality players, playing in their respective teams. And so, kailangan mo yun para magkaroon ka ng fighting chance.
Gianna mentioned that Ethan Galang is still not yet suited up for this game. He has missed the past few games for the Tamaraos, and that's another guy that has been a weapon for the Tamaraos this season.
And I feel Ethan Galang best fits this kind of game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, takbuhan, kaya makapagbungguan.
He can play at any level. You see there, Dolan Adlawan running the floor para sa Cebu Classic. He's taken advantage of the opportunity given to him tonight by Coach Mike Reyes.
Yeah, I agree. And these guys...
Now on, he has 5 points in this game. More importantly, putting Cebu up 30-17.
Tsaka I'm sure ang laking pangihinayang kung ikaw ang Cebu. Understanding na just si Darren Manligas nasa floor and you're gonna play slow break game. You're not maximizing on who that guy is. Full length of the floor. I don't think there's anyone that's fast and strong enough to go up with him. And let alone sila JC, of course.
And I'm sure Coach Mike Reyes understands that. He knows that his players like to play a certain way, and he's trying to maximize that tonight, especially against a team like Mindoro, who's been on a roll lately.
And he's really just giving them the freedom to choose and how to play. You know, ito lang yung ano natin, yung philosophies natin. You know, play to it. And Comboy now knocking down another 3, and you know, gotta get himself going if you're the Tamaraws.
He's got 7 points at this point of the game. Nothing much the Cebu defense could have done there. 30-20. Classic up by 10. Abonete goes to Boom Boom Tampos. Tampos hands it off to Manligues. Manligues uses the allowance screen. Tampos from the outside to beat the shot clock. Boom Boom Tampos.
A perfect execution of a middle ball screen ending up with a shake action. Tampos really just lifted out of the corner, and that swing pass by Manligues really right on the money.
Trying to get out of that identity that they've been showing in this game. That time slowing things up and getting it late in the shot clock. But the answer para dito sa Mindoro Tamaraws coming from RJ Ramirez.
And if you're the Mindoro Tamaraws now, you have to understand you're within striking distance. So no need to panic. You just got to get into our rhythm.
Hiro was open, did not take the shot. Instead gives it up to Tampos. He needs someone to pass to. Another late clock situation here for the Classic. Hiro will go one-on-one. This is what he does best, but it's going to be a 3-second violation. Laban kay Dolan Adlawan. He was waiting for something to happen.
And Jameson here, in my opinion, made a mistake of trying to beat that defense of RJ Ramirez. No way you're beating that guy. So might as well just move that ball, keep that ball hot, and the other guy's moving.
That is still something that he has to learn. He's a young player and still certainly a long way to go para sa kanya. Although he's shown us lots of flashes of brilliance over the years. Playing for Valenzuela previously. Jonas Tibayan getting that tip in to go.
I do agree. And Jameson Hero was last year's James Fa and John Fa. And so, you know, gaining a lot of maturity here for Jameson Hero as well.
Tampos pulls back between the legs. Comboy playing him right. Picks up his dribble. Hero takes the shot. Downtown connection. Galing kay Jameson Hero.
How about that?
I'm sure he feels good after that make, redeeming himself from that error that he did just a couple of possessions ago. Ramirez leads it for Jun Manzo. Manzo backs down Hero. The cut by Tibayan. Extra pass.
There you go.
Gamalinda finishes strong.
There you go. That's playing to your strength. Jonas Tibayan inside the paint. Bam Gamalinda moving weak sided.
Talk about playing to your strengths. That is certainly a strength of Daryl Manligues' game. Defense was not set up properly yet. Did not wait for them. And he just went straight to the rack, taking it strong. Daryl Manligues. But Mindoro doing it quickly as well on the other side. But there's a guy down for the Classic. This looks like it's Jan Habonete.
Habonete, that's right. But Javi, if you're gonna splice those last two plays, see this drive right here by Manligues. Tough finish, going on his weak hand. Finished with the right.
And that's a tough angle to work with as well. Ayun, natamaan si Habonete. Nabagsakan. I think it was an inadvertent hit. Oh, but it looks like it was quite the hard hit.
Right.
He's still game for the Classic. He's a homegrown for Cebu. And he certainly has given a lot of energy para sa kanyang kupunan sa laro na to. He's being held up here by our medical team as well as technical OIC Jojo Belnas.
And I mean, you just love it when opposing players, you know, look after each other. Jun Manso just went over to Habonete and, you know, told him to, you know, feel better.
Eh, kapwa Cebuano niya yan.
Isa pa yun.
Gamalinda able to make the first free throw. Gamalinda struggled to start this game, but recently here in the second quarter, he's been able to take advantage of those scoring opportunities. However, he splits those two free throws.
Yeah, tsaka Javi, we've seen games where Jonas Tibayan tandems really well with Bam Gamalinda. I mean, inside out. Ang kulang lang siguro dito si Ethan Galang na lang, eh, no?
It might not be the tallest combination in the front court, pero ang gugulang kasi nila, coach, eh. You know, they know how to play even if they're undersized.
Yeah, and when we say gulang, we mean experience.
Mismo,
I mean,
coach.
diba? alam na sa dami ng larong nailaro nila.
That's a dangerous pass made by Manligues.
not a-
Turnover for Cebu.
Agree, not a good pass at all.
That's a foul given up by Jameson Hero. Mindoro still down here by 11 points, by the way.
I would have loved for Manligues to just stop maybe 15 foot in, pull up or floater, just like how June Manso would normally do in that situation. Because pretty much every time downhill, it goes on a 1-2 step, try and finish on a layup. But you're not always going to claim that spot in the paint. And so you got to be wiser than that. Stop, then pop.
I think that's the difference between Manzo and Daryl Manligues. Manzo is more stop and go, while Manligues just has 1 gear usually, and that's
Agree.
Adlawan taking it to the rack. Meneses is there again, trailing the play. How many times have we seen it here in the first half? Mark Meneses going for those putback attempts whenever there's a miss on the break.
He almost looks like a bigger Boom Tampos no?
Actually,
on the floor,
yeah.
diba? Parang ganun. But tama na si Adlawan, ilang beses na yun, no? Fast break, siya yung finish.
That's even more responsibility on his shoulders right now para kay Dolan Adlawan, that now that Janjan Habonete is sidelined after that hit below his right eye. Check out our special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Meneses connects on the free throw.
That's one part of his game that he's got to be better on. He's only shooting 44% from the line, and you know, the big guy that you are, you're gonna get fouled a lot.
1 minute and 38 to go here in the first half. 12 hinahabol dito ng Mindoro. Marilao picks it back up. Ramirez to Sedoripa. Shot clock at 5. Sedoripa gets that ball swiped from him. Another chance to run for Cebu. De Los Santos the gather the score.
And RJ Ramirez, you know, got tempted into trying to steal that ball. He felt he was faster. Indeed, he's faster, pero you know, good response right there, and high rip on a 1-2 finish.
And when you're a lefty and you get that angle, it's pretty hard to stop.
Hirap na nga.
Sedoripa looks at the clock, almost traveled. Tibayan behind the line, that one's short. Offensive rebound by Ramirez. Lost it. Sedoripa could not save it. It will go the way of Cebu.
And the one thing that can't happen if you're the Tamaros, your primary scorers should not second guess themselves. I mean, Sedorifa was 3 for a moment right there. I thought he could have taken the shot, but you know, it's just the defense that's making them second guess.
Coach Mike Reyes dito sa Marikina Sports Complex. The Marikina Shoemasters will be defending their home floor for the first time this season. Later on against the Bulacan Cuyas. Right now we have the Cebu Classic up by 14 against the Mindoro Tamaraos. The Tamaraos have won 4 of their last 5 games, while Cebu is on a 3-game losing streak, which they hope to end today. And Brian Mendoza adding to that cause. That's a 3-point shot. He continues to hit from the outside. All of his points have come from 3-point country this season.
Wow. And previous to that, he's missed a couple, but you know, just trusting your practice and your preparation from that spot. One more.
Mendoza, could it go back-to-back? Rebound to Sedorifa. That was a quick trigger for Brian Mendoza. This gives Mindoro the time. Manza, that's a clean block from Menes. Cebu on the counter. De Los Santos will take it. Still a lot of time on the clock. Akala niya siguro wala ng oras.
Kasi walang clock dun sa side.
Sedorifa swings it to the left side. Manzo, 3 seconds left. There's a foul against Cebu. That's not a good foul. The Classic already over the limit.
Daryl wants this review, but I don't think they will. Definitely. Coach Mike and the other coaches saw that there was contact, so they're not giving that a go.
So without the review, 2 free throws will be given here to June Manzo. Mindoro Tamaraos, their struggles offensively here in the first half have contributed to them being down by this much. Manzo even misses on his first free throw. Coach Benji Teodoro with a look of concern on his face right now. Their winning streak on the line. Ever since he took over in that game against Pampanga, which they lost by 4, they've won their last 2 games by an average winning margin of 22 points. And that's going to do it. Our first half comes to a close, but looks like there was a whistle blown as that buzzer sounded.
Oh boy, this quarter's not even ending yet.
Coach Junda Jose, Coach Eric C., the assistant coaches of Cebu, absolutely frustrated with that whistle. There you see them trying to argue their case.
Kung yun naman ang itsura ng frustrated ni Coach Eric C. Paano pa ba yung pagmasaya na?
Pero our referees, after reviewing that last sequence, decided that hindi na nila itutuloy yung tawag, and that's gonna be the end of our first half. The Cebu